Here's a wow. Mike Woodson is yet to beat Northwestern in his coaching career. Northwestern won Sunday at Tennessee. At Tennessee and Indiana. No Ty Berry for the rest of the season with a meniscus injury for Northwestern, and it goes and gets just like a good resume building block win. I've been on record for a good 3-4 weeks now that I thought Northwestern was going to make its third NCAA tournament ever, and that kind of win just helps that become a reality there. We talk about Memphis and its issues. Indiana, Mike Woodson. Split opinion right now about whether or not that might be a sever at the end of the season. I don't think it will. I've talked to people that are pretty emphatic that it will not be, but we've touched on that before. We don't need to talk.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you since Chris Holtman was fired because you did the solo pod. Thank you. I was tied. I was, once I'm in New York, Tuesday, Wednesdays, I'm just like, I don't even know how I get through those days. So there's no way I could have jumped back on that. But you talked about it. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. I did ask Kyle this on Friday's episode while you were traveling. Strongjaw, shouts to Strongjaw. Mm-hmm. And he says, yes, this would influence him if he were Indiana. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
What if you are Indiana and between search firms and agents, you find out, because they will find out, Ohio State's zeroing in on Dusty May. They're going to go get him. And Dusty through agents and anybody else makes it clear to Indiana, I am an Indiana alum. It's my dream job. I want to come home. I want to come home, but I am not passing on the Ohio State job. So I will take. I'll take your job over Ohio State.
Here.
But if you keep Mike Woodson, I'm going to Ohio State. What do you do?
Yeah, that is. If it actually gets to that point, that is quite the dramatic scenario there. I think that if you're Indiana in that spot,
you have to
you have to make a move. In part because Mike Woodson is also not a long, like no one expect. Even if Indiana was heading toward an NCAA tournament this season, I think just generally around the program, like Mike Woodson took it over because of the Archie Miller ending, and like not seen as more of like 5, 6, like kind of 7 years and absolute best case scenario kind of coach there. Meanwhile, if Dusty May, who we're going to get to his team, it lost on Sunday, by the way, if he is the right guy, could be your coach. If it hits, he's there for 25 years kind of deal. So you have to move, but we'll see. There's again, February is still not wrapped, and we'll wait on that. We've talked about that a couple.
Yeah, but like, man, if you're I think we know Ross Bjork's going to make this hire, right?
I think he's going to have heavy influence. I don't think that Gene Smith will be void of actually being in the decision-making process in this. I actually think Gene Smith firing Holtman, he did so in part because he wants to play a significant role as this being his final move as AD. So if anything, my guess here outside looking in is truly a 50-50, and one guy will not get to say yes and the other guy will get to say no, and the guy that says yes gets to override. They will have to agree on the hire.
I believe Ross is going to be able to do this, and I think I was told that by somebody. But if you're the Indiana AD, you got to be on the phone with Ross like, hey, man, Chris Beard probably would be great in Columbus, wouldn't he? Like you got to get him away from Dusty May. That's the nightmare situation for you at Indiana. If you find out they are coming for Dusty May, then I think you do have to do it. Like this stuff does not happen in a vacuum. Like these things are connected. So if your options are, you just have to at some point say, okay, these are our options. If we get there, we can hold on to a 65-year coach who has quite literally been worse every year than he was supposed to be, according to Ken Pom, who is currently running the 4th best team in Indiana. I'm not going to keep doing that. I actually feel sorry for him at this point. It's not even funny anymore. Like that is a great basketball program that is a mess. I feel bad for them. But if he's okay, we can hold on to a 65-year-old who has disappointed us every year. And if he does the same thing in year 4 that he's done in year 1, 2, and 3, we'll fire him. All right? But Dusty May is going to be at Ohio State then, and we probably can't get him to leave Ohio State. I don't know. Maybe you could. Maybe you could just be like, come home now. I don't know. But I think if you get to that point and it's like, if we don't hire him, Ohio State will. Because it's not like if we don't hire him, UCLA will. Like he's going to be in your league.
See. Ohio State, the thing is, Ohio State job, that's going to be very crowded with a very interesting pool of candidates. So I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm saying I'm skeptical that
I want to be clear. I have no idea. This is just a thought exercise. I'm not trying to tell you Ohio State's going to target Dusty May. It's just a thought exercise. Dusty is a candidate for Ohio State because he's going to be a candidate for any job he wants to be a candidate for. All right. So, because I know Florida Atlantic's, oh, buddy, it was another bad one.
We're
Well,
getting there.
Yeah, right.
That's my next thing.
But like he did take Florida Atlantic to a Final Four, and he has had Florida Atlantic ranked in the top 25 all year. Like that's unprecedented stuff. So he's an obvious candidate for any job. I don't know if Ohio State's going to covet him, but if they do, this is all I'm saying is if they do, if you're Indiana, it has to play a role in your decision-making process, or else you're not being very smart about it.
Speaking of FAU, it lost 90-86. Now, when I took off, it was a 25-point deficit for the Owls, and then lo and behold, they lost by 4. I think I didn't see the game. I think they were down by 1 with 30 seconds to go. They couldn't pull it off. So FAU loses, and now FAU is 20-6 overall. It's 10-3 in the league. We've talked about South Florida and Amir Abdur-Rahim on recent episodes. Now it's 19-5, 12-1 in the league, has 1 loss since December 2nd, and the loss is by 4 points at UAB. The losses early in the season against Central Michigan, Maine, and Hofstra, those are 135 or lower in the metrics there. And in particular, losing to Central Michigan at home and Maine at home is what's just sinking USF's resume. But if they continue to win, they are going to have an extremely fascinating at-large case here. They are slowly creeping up. Actually, as we talk about this real quick, GP, I want to look where they are in wins above bubble, because I am genuinely curious if they are a top 50 team yet in wins above bubble with those losses. South Florida right now is 59, still not going to cut it. They are going to see, and this isn't a one bid league, but they're going to have to.
They got to win. They probably got to win their tournament. Well, how about this? I'll just say this.
I think they can lose one more. They can get to 6 losses, and maybe it's a conversation 7, and it's out. It's not even. They can't. They won't get there. But by beating FAU and getting this win, GP, I thought it was very significant for them to get into the conversation. And the fact that even Amir Abdur-Rahim has the team in this position is incredible after what USF has been for the past decade, and that's been irrelevant.
Listen, as far as bracketologists go, we know we love Jerry Palm and we love me. All right?
Is that the order?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is.
Okay. But I was watching, I believe, a USF game earlier in the week. It might have been another AAC game. I don't know. Things run together. But anyway, they had Lenardi on, or they either asked Lenardi, Joe Lenardi, of course, the ESPN bracketologist. And the question was simple. Is there any chance for South Florida to get an at-large bid? And he had a one-word answer. And his one-word answer was, nope. He said nope.
They run the table and lose in the American title game. I'm willing to have a discussion. I sometimes I get a little bit hesitant on those kind of declarations when we're still, hey, 1 month from tonight, we will be podcasting about a bracket of 68 teams. Oh, by the way. So we are now a month in and sub 1 month to the actual selection show.